We had been engaged for 2 years when Clara, my fiancée, secretly went and completed the marriage paperwork with her childhood sweetheart. By the time I arrived at the Civil Affairs Bureau, they were in the middle of a celebratory kiss, looking for all the world like a perfectly happy couple. When she finally noticed me standing there, Clara calmly explained the situation. Her new husband, Daniel, was scheduled for heart surgery the following week, and his one wish was to have a marriage certificate. Without a word, I calmly took the engagement ring from my finger, placed it on the counter, and left to spend some time with my friends and clear my head. Later, her friends would tell her she needed to apologize to me, but Clara just laughed. "He's been engaged to me for years," she'd said. "Who else would want him? Just wait, he'll come crawling back in a few days." But she miscalculated. After she saw me burn the journal I had kept about our love, she lost her composure completely. She proposed to me in a grand, public post online. I commented on it while holding her best friend Sophia in my arms, the warmth from her body seeping into mine. "I don't marry women who are on their second marriage," I wrote. The regret must have been a physical blow. I heard she was beside herself, desperately begging for me to just look at her one more time. On the reception platform inside the bureau, Clara and Daniel were kissing, so wrapped up in each other they didn't notice the world around them. I just stood in the doorway, the small, hard circle of the engagement ring digging into my palm, feeling utterly adrift. "Are you here to apply for a marriage license, sir? Where is your fiancé?" The voice of a staff member finally broke their embrace. Clara turned, and when she saw me, her expression was one of mild inconvenience, not shock or guilt. "Daniel is having heart surgery next week," she said, her tone placating, as if speaking to a child. "He just wanted a marriage certificate with me. I know you're my fiancé, but please don't throw a tantrum. Just try to be understanding." Clara and I had been friends in high school, dated for 4 years through college, and got engaged right after we graduated. It was a storybook romance, or so I had thought. I never imagined that the woman who had slipped an engagement ring onto my finger just 1 year prior, promising a lifetime of love, would be standing here today, legally married to another man. I forced a smile that felt brittle on my lips. "Of course. I'm very understanding," I said, my voice steady. "I wish you both a happy wedding." I walked forward, took the ring off, and placed it gently on the registration platform. Clara's brow furrowed in annoyance. "Leo, what is this? Are you really going to play the jealousy card right now?" I didn't answer, simply turned to leave, but Daniel came down from the platform to intercept me. "Leo, I'm so sorry," he said, his expression pained and earnest. "Please don't be mad at Clara. I have heart surgery next week, and I was so worried I wouldn't make it. I asked her to do this with me. I just wanted to experience the happiness of being married once. Don't worry, if I survive the surgery, we'll file for divorce immediately." "Don't cry, Daniel," Clara said, rushing to his side and holding his arm. She glared at me, her voice sharp with displeasure. "Leo, when Daniel gets upset, it affects his heart. Are you trying to make sure he doesn't recover? We only got a certificate. You're my real fiancé. After his surgery is over, we'll get divorced. Do you really need to call off our entire engagement over something so small?" "Oh, it's necessary," I replied, a bitter smile touching my lips. Daniel picked up the engagement ring from the platform. "Clara, I'm sorry. This is all my fault. I made Leo misunderstand. He only took off the ring because he's angry with me." I ignored them both and walked toward the exit. Behind me, I heard Clara's scornful laugh. "Don't worry about it. Leo has had a crush on me since high school, and we dated for 4 years. Remember all those times I went out with other handsome guys? Didn't he always come crawling back after a few days of pouting? I immediately called my friend Mark and told him I needed to get away. We planned a trip to City F. "Leo, I just finished a gallery visit in City A," he told me. When you get to City F, send me your location. I'll meet you. That night, at 8 p.m., I was sitting alone at a table in the Galaxy Bar in City F. After my first drink, a striking woman walked in. She was dressed in a classy, understated outfit, with dark hair cascading over her shoulders. At first glance, she had the approachable air of the girl next door, but a closer look, a familiar confidence in her stride, made me choke on my drink. What was Sophia doing here? Just then, my phone buzzed with a text from Mark. Leo, something came up and I had to fly overseas urgently. My sister is in City F, though. She'll keep you company for a few days. She has plenty of money and time, so feel free to boss her around. Don't be shy. As if on cue, Sophia spotted me and walked straight to my table. Sophia and I had been classmates in high school. She was an art student who later graduated from the prestigious City A Music Academy and was now the lead singer of the country's top band, Plan A. The last time I had seen her was a year ago, when Mark and I, who share a birthday, threw a joint party. She had flown in all the way from City A just for the occasion. "Leo, long time no see." Sophia's voice was as charming and nonchalant as I remembered from our school days. "Long time no see," I replied, gesturing for her to sit. "Can I get you a drink?" She glanced at the collection of empty glasses already on my table, her brow furrowed slightly. "You're not much of a drinker, are you? There's no need to poison yourself just because you're heartbroken." I guessed Mark had already filled her in on what had happened with Clara. A smirk played on my lips as my eyes lingered on her face. And after a few seconds of hesitation, fueled by alcohol and despair, I blurted out, "Sophia, will you stay with me tonight?" Her eyes seemed to dim for a moment, and seeing her unhappy expression, I quickly tried to backtrack with a clumsy smile. "Sorry, it's fine," she cut me off, a small, enigmatic smirk of her own appearing on her lips. I don't really know how we ended up in the hotel room. The next thing I knew, her fingers were deftly unbuttoning my shirt. I took a moment to admire her silhouette, then caught her eager gaze. She leaned in close, her whisper a warm breath against my ear. "Mark said you were looking for a new love to get over a breakup," she murmured. "How about me, Leo?" I forced a smile, the liquor making my head swim. "Sophia, don't you have a boyfriend?" she answered with surprising seriousness. "I'm single." The word had barely left her lips before she kissed me, a tender, reverent kiss that felt like I was something precious. The air filled with her light, fragrant scent, and every nerve in my body came alive. Her kisses grew more passionate, and lost in the moment I took control, our bodies moving together until she cried out, soft tears falling from her eyes like scattered jasmine petals. Startled, I slowed my movements, and she simply pulled me closer, embracing me in a comforting hold. I woke at dawn, having not really slept at all. I couldn't believe I had slept with Sophia of all people. She was Clara's best friend. She was still asleep beside me, so I carefully slipped out of bed. I checked my wallet and found I only had $200 in cash. I left it on the bedside table. I had just reached the hotel lobby when my phone rang. It was Clara. "Leo, what did you say to Daniel? He suddenly collapsed this morning. I barely got him to the hospital in time. You could have killed him. I just got married on paper and you're already causing this much trouble. I told you before, my only husband will be you. You knew he had a heart condition, so why would you provoke him with your stupid stunts?" I clutched the phone, my knuckles white, but my voice was calm when I replied. "I was busy last night. I didn't have any time for him. Clara, I know you care about him, but don't try to pin things on me that have nothing to do with me, okay?" Clara didn't reply, but I could hear one of her friends talking in the background. "You know Daniel's health isn't good. He's Clara's childhood friend, so, as her fiancé, you should be more considerate of him. Why can't you just get along with him?" Another voice chimed in. "Why even bother talking to him? Clara treats him so well, and he still wants to call off the engagement. He's so ungrateful." Shut up, Clara interrupted them, her voice turning cold as she spoke to me again. Leo, where are you? Daniel's surgery is next Wednesday, and he's very emotional right now. If you come to the hospital and apologize, it might help calm him down. I paused for a moment, then asked, Did Daniel tell you I called him last night to curse at him? I'm sorry, I was busy last night and didn't even have a chance to touch my phone. With a slight, humorless smile, I hung up. A moment later, a message from Clara appeared. What did you mean by that just now? I typed back a quick reply. Clara, if you were able to rush Daniel to the hospital, where were you last night? 5 minutes passed before she responded. Daniel couldn't sleep, and I was just keeping him company. I treat him like a brother. My thoughts aren't as dirty as yours. At 7 in the morning, Sophia found me at a small breakfast spot across the street from my hotel. When I saw her, I suddenly found it hard to meet her eyes. She sat down opposite me, her expression casual as she asked, So, Leo, am I only worth $200 to you? I gave a faint, non-committal, uh-huh, and seeing the shocked look on her face, I quickly shook my head. No, of course not. Sophia looked at me, a swirl of emotions in her eyes. Leo, I was serious last night. Don't tell me you were just playing around. Sophia, we're both adults, I said, looking directly at her, though my voice came out a bit hoarse. Last night was mutual. The $200 was for your share of the room. Looking concerned, Sophia got up from the table and came back with a cup of hot water for me. Leo, she began, her voice soft. When I saw Clara post that picture of the marriage certificate yesterday, I got really worried about you. I had Mark keep tabs on your whereabouts. When he told me you were heading to City F for a break, I booked a ticket from City A right away. You and Clara are over now. Do you want to try giving it a shot with me? When she said that, I could only manage a soft, sad smile. Sophia, I dated Clara for 5 years. She's your best friend. So what? She replied, raising a delicate eyebrow, her dark eyes open and honest. I'm sorry, Sophia, A bitter feeling welled up in my throat, leaving me speechless. Sophia just smiled, her usual nonchalance returning. I get it. Don't worry about last night. Even if you were just playing, I'm okay with it. There's a lot to see in City F. I'll keep you company for the next few days. 2 days later, Sophia said she wanted to take me on a motorbike ride to the beach. As I walked out of the hotel, I saw her leaning against a sleek, black motorcycle, a helmet dangling from her hand. The morning sunlight streamed down, making it seem as if time had paused just for that moment. For some reason, it took me back to high school, to a memory of her and her friends speeding past me on their bikes. Once I was settled on the bike, behind her, I saw a faint smile in Sophia's eyes as she glanced at me in the rearview mirror. Leo, I ride fast. You should hold on to my waist so you don't fall off. As the engine roared to life, I hesitated for a fraction of a second before wrapping my arms tightly around her. In the bike's mirrors, I could see her face was lit up with a vibrant, infectious joy. As we reached the coastal road, the sound of the wind rushed past my ears, and it felt like summer had truly arrived. The sun began its slow descent, casting a golden glow over the sand, which was dotted with seashells. In the distance, a boat swayed gently on the water. Suddenly, my phone began to ring. Sophia pulled the bike over to the side of the road. Go ahead and take your call. I'll take a couple of pictures for Mark. Okay, I said, seeing it was a call from Clara. I walked a few steps away before answering. Leo, where are you? My mom is picking a wedding date for us. Send her your birth details. Her words ignited a fresh wave of fury in me. Clara, I snapped back. Did you take a memory loss pill? What wedding? We've broken up. Tell Daniel to send his details. He's your rightful husband now. You're so angry, yet you claim you're not jealous, she said, her voice dripping with condescension. It's been days, and you're still mad. Daniel's surgery went well, and I applied for a divorce yesterday. As soon as the cooling-off period is over, we'll get married. Isn't that what you want?" "Of course not," I stressed. My patience wearing thin, I repeated that our engagement was over. Clara's tone suddenly turned icy. "Leo, stop being so petty. My patience has its limits." I could hear another voice on her end of the line. "Clara, why don't you just apologize to Leo? He seems genuinely upset this time. If he marries someone else, you're going to regret it." Clara scoffed dismissively. "He was engaged to me. Who else would marry him now? He'll come crawling back in no time." Growing increasingly agitated, I ended the call and turned off my phone. On the last day of my trip, I returned to our home city. After landing, I took a cab straight to Clara's new apartment. Clara is the heiress to the R Group, and after graduating, she took over the family business. A few days before all this, we had planned to finally move in together, so she had just moved into this new place. Daniel lived in the apartment directly across the hall. She had told me their parents wanted them in the same community for convenience. The last time I had stayed over, I had left my journal there. It held every detail of our relationship from the very beginning. I needed to get it back. As soon as she opened the door, I saw Clara in the kitchen, stirring a pot of soup. Daniel, wearing an apron, stood close beside her, peering into the pot. In all the years I had known her, this was the first time I had ever seen her cook. She has a sensitive stomach, and when we were together, I was the one who prepared all her meals. She always said my cooking was the best she'd ever had, so for years I made her breakfast, always trying new recipes just to see her happy. Upon hearing the door open, Clara barely glanced at me before her attention returned to the pot. Daniel, however, approached me with a slight, almost triumphant smile. "Leo, you're back. I was just discharged from the hospital today, and Clara is cooking for me. You're not going to get jealous again, are you?" "Clara is your legally wedded wife. Why would I be jealous?" I replied coldly, maneuvering around him and heading towards the bedroom. Clara put down her spoon and glanced back at me. As if pulled by an invisible string, her gaze focused on the right side of my jawline. "Leo, what is that?" she asked, her voice sharp. "Are you blind?" I replied bluntly. "Can't you tell it's a hickey?" Clara's face darkened with fury. "Damn it! Who did that? Leo, you dare sleep with someone else?" "Clara, don't let this upset you," Daniel said, grabbing her arm and giving me a look of feigned sympathy. "Leo was off in City F traveling all by himself. He probably got lured in by some sketchy woman. That's why he couldn't give you a straight answer earlier." He looked at me then, his expression condescending. "Leo, a man who can't respect himself is like a rotten cucumber in a garden. No woman would want that." I didn't hesitate. I swung, and my fist connected with his jaw. I watched him hit the ground. "Daniel," I asked coldly, "who gave you the guts to spread rumors about me right to my face? You knew Clara was engaged, but you still schemed to marry her. I didn't call you out on that. Does that give you some kind of twisted sense of accomplishment?" Daniel's eyes filled with a mixture of pain and unwillingness. Clara looked pained as well, but her gaze towards me had turned resentful. "Leo, you say you're not jealous or angry. I admit that not telling you beforehand about marrying him was my fault, but Daniel isn't well. If you're angry, direct it at me." "Clara, I didn't push Daniel. Believe me or don't, I don't care. I just came to get my diary. Let's not stay in touch anymore." I walked into the bedroom, found the journal, and turned to leave. "Leo, are you serious about this?" Clara's voice stopped me at the door. I looked back at her, tears of bitter laughter welling in my eyes. "Clara, I've just realized that my entire high school crush on you was a complete joke. Liking you was like inviting a storm cloud to follow me for the rest of my life." Back in our senior year, I had accidentally fallen into a river. When I woke up, the first person I saw was Clara. That was probably the moment the crush began. 3 days later, Sophia invited me to the anniversary concert for her band, Plan A. I agreed to go. That night, at 7, I sat in the audience as the stage lights flared to life, and the roar of the crowd filled the arena like boiling water. "Leo, check it out. My sister's pretty popular, huh?" Mark said, nudging me. "My dad is always telling her to come back and take over the family business, but she just tells him he's still young enough to handle it for another 10 years. She's chasing her passion now." He pulled out a fan support banner from his bag and laughed, motioning for me to grab one corner. I glanced at it and saw the words, "Loving yourself is always Plan A." The band had 4 members, and after they played their anniversary song, the others left the stage. Sophia picked up an acoustic guitar and chuckled into the microphone. "This next one is a new solo song I wrote for a friend. I hope it brings him happiness every day." As the first chords of the guitar began to play, her soft, melodic voice flowed out into the silent arena. Somehow, it felt like warmth made solid. Suddenly, I remembered something she had said in City F. How about trying to be together? As she sang, Sophia's eyes found mine in the crowd, and for a moment my heartbeat seemed to sync with her voice. "Leo, why is my sister staring at you like that?" Mark whispered, his voice full of suspicion. "Is that song for you? Come on, clean. Are you hiding something from me?" No, I said quickly. "She's looking at you." "You're telling me my sister is giving her own brother those kinds of soft eyes? That's just twisted, man." Mark laughed mischievously. I felt a pang of guilt. I still hadn't told him what had really happened that night in City F. After the concert, Mark took me backstage. "Hey everyone, this is Leo, a friend of Sophia's brother, and also her high school classmate." As I introduced myself, one of the band members, a guy with curly hair, gave Sophia a knowing look. "So, Sophia," he teased, "he's the one you like, isn't he? That song was for him, right?" His words made everyone laugh. Sophia shot them a playful glance and raised an eyebrow slightly before her warm gaze landed on me. "Leo, it was written for you," she said, her voice clear and steady. "It's not a love song, though. It's about leaving the dark days behind and hoping for a bright future." Realizing it wasn't a love song, I felt a strange mixture of relief and something else I couldn't quite name. The next day, Sophia texted me. "Leo, are you free this Saturday afternoon? A friend and I have a volleyball game at City B High. I hope you can come and cheer for me." City B High was our old school, and I didn't mind the idea of visiting. After replying to Sophia, I received 2 voice messages from Clara's younger brother, Ethan. "Leo, are you free this Saturday afternoon?" I only played the first one. It was probably about Clara, and frankly, there was nothing left to discuss. Saturday came, and I went to City B High. When I walked into the gym, I saw Clara dressed in white sportswear, standing on the court opposite Sophia. So, Sophia's friendly volleyball match was against Clara. Ethan spotted me and grinned. "Clara, you should give Leo a break today. You've been drinking over him these past few days. We've all seen it. Making up would be the best thing for both of you." Clara looked over at me, her face a blank mask, her voice cold. "Why did you call him here? I'm not that desperate to find a boyfriend. Why should I keep bending to his tantrums?" Then her voice softened slightly, just enough for me to hear. "But it's one last time. If he brings me a bottle of water, I'll swallow my pride and make peace." I ignored them both and walked straight over to Sophia. "Sophia," she ran over to me, smiling brightly. "Here's your water. Good luck with the game." I handed her a drink. "Thanks. This is the first time you've brought me water. I'm definitely going to win today." "Sophia, what are you doing?" Clara's voice was sharp as she rushed over. "Leo is my fiancé. Are you trying to steal him?" She swung her hand, slapping Sophia across the cheek. Without missing a beat, Sophia slapped her right back. Steal what? Last I checked, your husband's name is Daniel, isn't it, Clara? Leo saw you marry him. That makes him your ex. I warned you, if you weren't going to be true to him, I would take him away. I don't make empty threats. Clara staggered back a couple of steps, her eyes filled with a fierce anger. Seeing that she was about to hit Sophia again, I stepped between them and pushed Clara away. Clara, what has gotten into you? Clara looked at me, and it seemed like a memory suddenly surfaced. Her eyes turned red. Leo, don't tell me you were fooling around with Sophia during those days in City F. Do you have any idea that she's my friend? Sophia is a big star now. She's just playing around with you. There's no way she's serious about you. I laughed, a cold, empty sound. So what if she is? Clara, you should understand. From the moment you and Daniel got your marriage license, our engagement was over. Who I'm with and what I do is none of your business. Seeing the finality in my expression, Clara's tone softened into a desperate plea. Leo, I'm sorry. It was because of Daniel's heart surgery. He was so scared he wouldn't make it, so he begged me to get a license with him. We've known each other since we were kids. I couldn't say no to him. I've already filed for divorce. As soon as the waiting period is over, we can get married. What do you think? I glanced at her dismissively. I don't think so. Our relationship is over. Please don't bring up marriage again. Clara glared at Sophia one last time before leaving in a sulk. Sophia, that's not cool, Ethan scoffed. You and Clara are friends, and you went for her fiancé. He then turned his disapproving look on me. Ethan, are you stupid? Sophia's voice was like ice, her fists clenched at her sides. Leo is not her fiancé anymore. Ethan stiffened at her tone and slinked away without another word. Seeing the small cut on Sophia's lip, I took a Band-Aid from my bag and handed it to her. But she didn't take it. Leo, I can't see it properly, she said, her voice soft. I might waste your Band-Aid by putting it on wrong. Can you put it on for me? I looked up at her and saw she was smiling, the corners of her eyes crinkling. So I tore open the wrapper and carefully placed the small bandage on the corner of her mouth. I chuckled lightly. Did you purposely invite Clara to play volleyball today? Sophia didn't deny it, smiling as she asked me, Leo, when did you first start liking Clara? I was taken aback by the question. I pointed toward the artificial lake in front of the school library. Junior year, I accidentally fell into that lake, and Clara saved me. In the second term of our junior year, I got a call from my mom about an urgent family matter. As I was leaving the library to head for the school gate, I tripped over a loose stone on the path and fell into the lake. When I came to, the first person I saw was Clara. From that day on, my eyes were always on her. Throughout college, everyone envied me for having a girlfriend who seemed to love me so much. But no one knew just how much effort I had put into pursuing her. Sophia, what are you looking at? I waved my hand in front of her face when I noticed she was staring at the lake, lost in thought. Nothing. Let me take you home, she said, withdrawing her gaze and smiling at me. Her smile was so bright, her eyes sparkling with life. For a moment, her smile transported me back several years. City B High was the best school in the city, and back then, Clara and Sophia were both famous as transfer students. Both were top of their class, always neck and neck. In our sophomore year, Sophia and I ended up in the same class. She sat right behind me for 2 years. In my memory, even back in high school, she had this unique, confident vibe. She hadn't changed at all. She was still full of an incredible energy. At 1 a.m, my phone started ringing incessantly. I picked it up and saw it was Clara, calling from a strange number. It was accompanied by a flood of texts filled with random, weird symbols. I blocked the number and turned off my phone. But the next morning, Daniel showed up at my door. He looked worn out, but his tone was just as unfriendly as ever. "Leo, do you know that Clara had a stomach bleed last night because of you? She refuses to go to the hospital and has locked herself in her apartment. She won't see anyone. The only person she wants to see is you. Come with me to her house." "Daniel, with what authority are you asking me to do this?" I asked, my voice flat. "As her husband, it's quite generous of you to ask her ex-boyfriend of 5 years to go see your wife. Aren't you worried we might rekindle an old flame?" As soon as I said it, Daniel's face turned a bit sour. As guys, we could both see that he was in love with Clara. He had suffered from health issues since he was a child, and a few years ago he had gone abroad for treatment. When he returned, he found me and asked me to break up with Clara, claiming that she would do anything for him. His feelings for her were no secret. Ever since he came back, Clara's life had seemed to revolve more and more around him, constantly taking him on trips and trying out new restaurants. If you didn't know any better, you would have thought Daniel was her boyfriend. Of course, I had argued with her about it, but she always said it was a task given to her by their elders to take good care of him because of his congenital heart disease. At 3 a.m. the next day, I was woken by loud noises coming from my living room. I almost thought my apartment was being raided. When I opened my bedroom door, I found Clara sitting on my couch. My things were scattered all over the floor, and she was holding my diary. In my anger, I had completely forgotten that she still had a spare key. Seeing me, Clara stood up excitedly and tried to hug me. I sidestepped her, and she stumbled and fell to the floor. "Leo, can we get back together?" she pleaded, her voice slurred. "I saw your diary. You never let me see it before. It turns out it was all about your love for me. I know you're only with Sophia to spite me. I don't care what happened between you two, as long as you come back to me. Didn't you want to start your own design studio? I'll find a spot for you first thing in the morning. And you said you wanted 2 cats, right? I'll get them for you, okay? I was wrong to agree to get a license with Daniel. I should have told you sooner. But if it were you, facing a patient in such a hard situation, you wouldn't have refused either, would you? We've been together for nearly 5 years. I'm so used to having you around. Ever since you started ignoring me, I feel like a part of my heart has just caved in. It hurts so much." She sat there on the floor, rambling pitifully, as if she were talking more to herself than to me, blaming herself for everything. Caved in, I thought. The phrase was oddly funny. "Clara, what is this crazy midnight stunt? If you're sick, go see a doctor." I reached out to pull her up, intending to show her the door, but she clung to my leg, refusing to let go. I couldn't hold back my frustration any longer. I slapped her hard. "Clara, can you stop being such a child? We didn't have a clean break, so how are you supposed to be the CEO of a major conglomerate? You'd be better off playing with mud alongside a 3-year-old. Clara looked up at me, her picturesque face now marked by my handprint. I cut straight to the question that had been bothering me. "Clara, it wasn't you who saved me back then, was it? So why did you lie about it?" "Did Sophia tell you the truth?" Clara stiffened, her gaze dropping to the floor before she let out a sudden, harsh laugh. "Leo, the person who saved you back then wasn't me. It was Sophia. At the hospital, Sophia had gone to change out of her soaked school uniform. You woke up and asked if I was the one who saved you. I didn't correct you. I let you mistakenly believe it was me. I admit I had a selfish motive. I already had a crush on you back then. Sophia and I had transferred from a private high school to City B High, and everyone was afraid to cross us because of our families, but not you. As the student council vice president, you treated us no differently from anyone else. That one time Sophia was late, you insisted on marking her down, despite the teacher's objections. It left a strong impression on me. The next day, Sophia went to City A for a training camp that lasted for 6 months. When she came back after her art exams, she found out that you had fallen for me, and she chose not to mention saving you. So that's how it was. Actually, Mark's sister had told me about it yesterday. She said Sophia didn't want to bring it up in front of me, mainly because she wanted to avoid stirring up any traumatic memories of nearly drowning. "Clara, do you have a lighter? Can I borrow it?" Clara paused for a moment before pulling her limited edition designer lighter from her bag. I took it and went to the kitchen to grab a metal basin. Then I walked back and snatched the diary from her hands. I ripped out a few pages, lit them with the lighter, and tossed them into the basin. "Leo, what are you doing?" Clara's eyes widened in horror. She tried to stand up to stop me, but fell back down, too drunk to manage her balance. The diary held 106 entries chronicling my high school crush, and the rest documented every milestone of our relationship. "Leo, if you keep tearing them, they'll be gone forever. Do you really want to burn our entire love story in this basin? Do we really not have a chance?" I paused, casting a blank look at Clara. Then I threw the remaining half of the diary into the roaring flames. Watching the handwritten pages curl into ash, memories bloomed wildly in my heart, only to wither and leave a gaping hole. I wasn't supposed to feel sad about it, but I did feel a pang of regret. The 17-year-old girl I thought I knew was gone forever. After the last page had burned, I picked up my phone and called Daniel. "Come and pick up this drunken mess. Clara is your wife. You were able to snatch her away from me, so you should be able to manage her." There was a choked silence on the other end of the line, but he didn't say another word. A few days later, it was Sophia's 25th birthday. After the party, she took me to the beach and confessed her feelings for me. I said yes. Sophia said a lot during her confession, but she left out the part about saving me. When I brought it up, she just smiled gently. "I was afraid you would only accept my love because you felt indebted to me for that. I wanted you to truly like me for me. Only then can we be truly happy together." I smiled and stepped forward to hug her tightly. "Sophia, thank you for everything. You've made me genuinely fall for you." "You're silly, though," she murmured into my shoulder. "If I hadn't broken up with Clara, wouldn't those 8 years of your crush have been for nothing?" "As long as you marry me, those 8 years weren't wasted," she replied, her sweet voice lingering in my ear. I pulled away from her embrace and looked into her bright, smiling eyes. Words failed me, so I kissed her instead. The very next morning, a headline exploded online. "Clara and Leo's 1,706 Days of Romance." The source of the post was Clara herself. When I saw it trending, my mind went blank, dreading this blast from the past. She had posted 2 long entries. The first detailed our 5-year relationship, mostly composed of excerpts from the diary she had apparently memorized that night. The second was a public apology and a proposal. "Leo, let's get married. Please, just give me another chance." Clara had even included a picture showcasing the lavish wedding venue she had planned for us. Her posts, of course, mentioned marrying Daniel while still being in a long-term relationship with me. Not a single comment celebrated her grand romantic gesture. They just told her to get lost. People were confused. I thought this might have been some dramatic, epic romance, but it turns out she's just a 2-timing girl. What is this weird writing? Reading these endless lines just left me shocked. Who has a fiancé and still goes and marries their childhood best friend? As I was about to type a response, a hand reached over my shoulder and snatched my phone away. "Leo, don't read those copied love quotes," Sophia said, nestling into my arms and burying her face against my neck. "Jealous women are terrifying. They're like hungry puppies." We playfully tussled in bed for a bit before I grabbed my phone back and retweeted Clara's proposal post with a simple comment: "I don't marry women who have been married before." Later, Ethan told me that Clara cried her eyes out after seeing my post. She had tried calling me repeatedly, but all the calls came up as disconnected. I had already canceled that number to avoid her harassment. A few days after that, the paparazzi released a grid of 9 photos of me and Sophia kissing on the beach. Seeing it trending, I hesitated to check the comments, knowing how venomous they could be, especially since Sophia was a big star. But Mark assured me that no one was criticizing us. The commenters were saying that Sophia and I made a lovely couple. They also mentioned how the famous fashion designer and the top band's lead singer were high school classmates, calling our story totally cute. That night, Clara posted again, but this time it was just a single period. Users commented that she was finally showing some vulnerability. Minutes later, Sophia posted on her own social media account. "I finally found the boy I've loved for 8 years. We're going to be happy forever." I lost a boy. His name is Leo. His life should have been as bright and brilliant as his name suggests, but I held him back for 5 years. It wasn't right. I did care for him, but after we finally got together, our feelings for each other slowly faded away, until all we were left with were arguments and misunderstandings. I just didn't know how to love someone the right way. I let him down. The day I saw Sophia's announcement, I decided to travel abroad to clear my mind. Not long after I left, Ethan called me on a video chat. He told me that Leo and Sophia were getting ready to tie the knot. He said they had designed a cosmic-themed wedding scene themselves, and those who had seen it said it was incredibly romantic. I looked it up online, and he was right. It looked beautiful. If I hadn't lost him, I would have been the bride standing there with him. Leo once told me that every string goes on an adventure in the sky for just one kite, and that he was the string, protecting me as the kite. I didn't understand what he meant back then, but I do now. But now, Sophia has become the string protecting the kite. In her hands, the kite flies steady and true. All I can do is watch them from afar. I wish them a lifetime of happiness.